Carmen, your matchup that matters here for this afternoon matchup between two teams who were going into the season, I think both had aspirations to make it to the NFC Championship game. At this point, I feel like the Cowboys would just be happy somehow making it in as a wild card, but there's a lot of season left to play. They haven't played great, but what is a matchup that you think either of these teams are going to look to exploit here in this one?
Well, we know that the offense has struggled in Dallas, but the sneaky kind of deficiency on this Dallas defense is their run defense. And this Dallas front seven going against Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, who make up, I think, the best backfield tandem in the league. You now go against a team where Marshawn Kneeland is out. Eric Kendricks didn't practice on Wednesday. Micah Parsons is working through injury. The Dallas's run defense gave up 190 yards to New Orleans. They gave up 270 to Baltimore this year. They have the highest EPA per play allowed versus the run. And Detroit is averaging 151.3 yards on the ground per game. That's the sixth best mark in the league, and they have the third best EPA per play on the ground. So this is a really big strength of this Ben Johnson offense in Detroit is getting to run the ball. I mean, Jared Goff is getting a lot of praise, rightfully so, coming off a near perfect game, but it's because he also has all of these weapons to call on and an offensive backfield to rely on so that even if he's not passing the ball to Amon-Ra St. Brown or Sam Laporta or Jahmyr Gibbs in space for that matter, you can get something going and really kind of control the clock, again, sustain these drives, stay on the field. And Dallas has just not been good against the run so far this season,
right?
Compounded with the injuries that they now have in their front seven. This is a huge opportunity for Detroit to exploit.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the Cowboys can't win this game. And in fact, my matchup that matters kind of talks about that, but it's really hard to lean into the Cowboys, even at home, even coming off a win, because their greatest weakness is the Lions' greatest strength. Like, it's how the Lions want to win football games: be physical, be up front, be able to run the ball. And if the Cowboys do not have their best game yet in run defense, I don't know how many scripts exist for them to outscore this Lions team, especially when you compound that with, okay, if they run the ball really well, the Cowboys are going to have to respond. They're going to have to put more guys in the box. And then Ben Johnson's going to be able to, what we think, have his way with you in the passing game as a good play caller as well. But a matchup that matters to me is something that the Cowboys are doing well this season, and that is deep passes. They have 34 passes of 15 yards or more. That's second most in the NFL behind only the Houston Texans. And it's pretty evenly distributed. CeeDee Lamb's got 7. Jalen Tolbert's got 6. Jake Ferguson's got 5. And so they just want to push the ball deep down the field, and they've got some different weapons to do it. Now, the Lions, it's not like a total weakness for them, but they have allowed 23 receptions to 15 yards or more. That's 13th most in the NFL so far this season. Carlton Davis has allowed 7. Terrion Arnold has allowed 6. So I wonder if Dallas is really going to go after those two guys when specifically they're looking to target deep down the field, because it has been a major part of what they have needed with the run game not having that kind of consistency. It's a lot on Dak's shoulders, and I think that's the reason why we see those stats simply from a volume perspective. But it is an area where, with the Lions probably running the ball at will in this game, can the Cowboys make up for it by being as explosive as we have seen them be throughout the year against defenses that are not as good as the Lions overall? Are they able to do that still while they are at home? So to me, that's sort of the script they need to have, is continuing to be that explosive passing offense to be able to match what the Lions we think are going to be as a rushing attack. I see that we both have the same plus factor here, so I will let you go first, and then I'll piggyback off of whatever stats maybe you didn't read about Aidan Hutchinson himself.
Well, I also want to point out my other one that could affect this, which goes off of what you were just saying in Dallas wanting to have an explosive passing attack. Brian Branch could be back for the Detroit Lions, which matters a great deal for the secondary, just given the ways that they can use him and the help that he can give to these outside corners. He's just a do-it-all player in the backfield that Aaron Glenn has a time with, as far as what he's able to do and how he schemes him up. But the plus factor is Aidan Hutchinson. And welcome, Dave. There is so much to say about just how much of a tear Hutch is on. He leads the league in pressures with 40. That's 11 more than any other player. 93.8 PFF grade, which is first among edge defenders, 94.2 pass rushing grade, first among defensive linemen in general. I mean, it's absolutely insane. His 40 pressures, obviously, since they lead the league, they lead the Lions. The next the guy down the list, the next guy down the list is Levi Onwuzurike, 16 pressures. So, which is great for an interior guy. Like I'm not hating on Levi by any stretch of the imagination, but it just speaks to how ridiculous Aidan Hutchinson is. And Dallas has allowed 49 pressures as an offensive line group, which ranks 14th. So this is really the potential to just be a game wrecker. And the way that they use Aidan Hutchinson in so many different ways, he lines up all over the line. He can do he can even line up off the line of scrimmage and then like on delayed blitzes come in, or he had a couple interceptions last year even. I mean, this is a guy that he's building up his toolbox as he's a pro, and it shows, whether it's the way that he uses his hands at the line or, again, developing these insane skills when it comes to dropping into coverage that Aaron Glenn isn't afraid to do with him now. I mean, it's an incredible story. He's just been dominant and gotten better amazingly every season he's been in the league. And this is he's an absolute game wrecker, and there's really no answers for him. Even if you double team him, all that kind of stuff, he's beaten these guys outright. Aaron Glenn knows how to scheme him up to get him away from those double teams and really exploit some matchups along, opposing offensive lines. And I expect them to do that against an offensive line that in Dallas, where you're starting multiple rookies and I don't know, Tyler Guyton, I don't know. I need to look at, I don't have the injury report in front of me. But if he's healthy, if he's doing okay, it could be a field day for Aidan Hutchinson.
Yeah, Delton saying in the chat, like, hey, those numbers for Hutchinson are inflated, and sure, I guess a little bit because he's been going up against backups, but just going into this matchup, Tyler Guyton and Terrence Steele, both of them are bottom 10 in the NFL in terms of offensive tackles when it comes to pressures allowed. So it's not like it's, a great matchup here, and he can only play the guys that are in front of him. He's been absolutely wrecking the guys in front of him. And you talked about how Aaron Glenn's been able to scheme up Aidan Hutchinson. He's done an excellent job making it so it's so difficult to chip him or double team him, or he'll make you pay if the running back is just looking to his side at all times. And so they're doing a great job, not only making sure they emphasize Hutchinson's just overall talent, but aligning him in the right spots. It's a talent plus scheme, compounding of results that you are seeing from the pressures and what Hutchinson has been able to do.